All right. So we're still in this introduction before getting to the actual metin, covering some istilahat, some terminologies. So we covered the fa'il, doer, verbal subject, yani subject of verbal sentence. Al-maf'ul. Here, what they meant was al-maf'ulu bihi. And it would have been better here to put bihi here. But you can say maf'ul and you mean maf'ul bihi. But you know now that maf'ul is broader than maf'ul bihi. And the plural of that is al-mafa'il. Al-mafa'il. The maf'uls. So here what's meant is maf'ul bihi. And na'ib fa'il, replacement doer. That's a passive voice sentence. Al-mudafu wal-mudafu ilayhi, the two components of an idafa, zarfu zaman and zarfu al-makan, zarfu al-makan. Zarfu zaman and zarf al-makan, which can also be called al-maf'ulu fihi. Hal we covered. Adverb. Of course, all these are the basics. So all these have their own chapters and details and exceptions and etc. Tamyiz, a distinguisher. It's usually going to come out in your translation as a possessive construction of such and such, or as some sort of a prepositional phrase, like in such and such, of such and such, or in such and such. And we covered al-maf'ulu li ajlihi, what is done for the sake of something. And there was an ayah that I meant to share with you here that has al-maf'ulu li ajlihi, which is that Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب. He it is who revealed to you the book, O Muhammad. منه آيات محكمات. Some of it is decisive verses, explicit verses. هن الكتاب. They are the foundation of the book. They are the reference for other verses, and they are the majority of verses in the book. وَأُخَرُ مُتَشَابِهَاتٍ. And other verses are ambiguous. Other verses that don't have the same basic status as the first ones. Other verses that they're referred back to those other ones. These ones are ambiguous, susceptible to more than one meaning. Even if you understand Arabic, you might not understand what's intended. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ زَيْغٌ. Now concerning those who have in their hearts perversion, deviance, inclination away from the truth. فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ. They pursue what is ambiguous therein. Yani, they follow them up and they search for them and they line them up. They present them all together. Ibtigha al-fitna. Here. Ibtigha al-fitna. So, for fitna. Ibtigha means seeking. for the purpose of. For that reason. Here, mansub maf'ulun li ajlihi. فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ. They pursue what is ambiguous therein. ابتغاء الفتنة. Seeking, yani for the sake of fitna. Means here very clearly, for the sake of. Subhanallah. Now that I'm sharing this with you, I just find it interesting how clear the sake is presented here. Because the position of the word here is maf'ulun li ajlihi. Could be any verb. And what was put there is the verb that means for the sake of in itself. So al-fitna, ibtigha, al-fitna. And the fitna is, our Shaykh said, that's they're arguing with you to take you out of your Sunni religion. And what's their zayg? What's their inclination away from the truth? It is their inclination to compare God to the creation. It is their inclination towards anthropomorphism. So now let's continue. The author says, وَالْمَفْعُولُ مَعَهُ. And what was done with. وَالِاسْمُ الْمُقْتَرِنُ بِوَاوِ الْمَعِيَّةِ. It is the name that comes along with the wow of withness. Withness. W-I-T-H-N-E-S-S. If you want, put a dash there. Withness. Being with. So this wow looks like and. The wow that means and. And it's wow al-ma'iyyah. There's many wows in Arabic. وَفُعِلَ الْفِعْلُ مَعَهُ. And the act was done with it. The act was done with it. Nahu, such as جاء الأمير والجيش. The prince came with the army, or the general came with the army. So this is waw al-ma'iyyah, not waw al-atuf. A, meaning ma'a al-jaysh, with the army. Ma'a wal-jaysh, a ma'a al-jayshi, with the army. وَلَا يَكُونُ إِلَّا مَنْصُوبًا. And it would not be but accusative. Now perhaps you could see here, Barakallahu fikum. Perhaps you could see here, or you might have a question. Couldn't we say Ja al-Amiru wal-Jayshu? The general came and the army. And it means here, waw al-atuf, and not with. Yes. And it's not always like that. They're not always interchangeable like that. But look at the levels of meanings that Arabic provides you. And yani, you might be able to get a sense for really the difference. Like when you say Ja al-Amiru wal-Jaysha, wow means ma'a. But when you just say it though, yeah, you say Ja al-Amiru ma'al-Jayshi, with the army. While you know the wow also can mean and, but here it doesn't mean and. Let's say it's clear for you. Here it doesn't mean and, it's clear for you. Like, you got experience, it's not new for you now. Okay, doesn't mean and, it means with. But You could say ma'al jayshi, and you taste something different between those two, and their meaning is the same meaning. Then the 10th one is al-muthanna wal-muthanna. Let me remind you here. Muthanna. All right. You already know al here. That's the article. Muthanna. This right here, this last letter, that's an alif. That's why I put this dagger up here. Dagger alif, as they say. Alif has two shapes. Sometimes alif is shaped like a ya without dots. It only appears at the end of a word. That's called alif maksura. Alif maksura. Okay. Now also muthanna, I want you to notice this, that, and this noon. Because this word muthanna comes from the word ithnan, ithnan. You hear the tha and the noon. Ithnan. Muthanna. So muthanna means doubled, doubled. That's very literal translation of the word. The doubled. هكذا. Then I will ask. So the brother says this is widespread mistake here, what I just told you, because that's what I learned, yani, all the time. That's all I learned, ever heard, or seen, written anywhere. Al-alif al-ya'iyyah, not maksura. Okay. Let me double check it then, inshallah. Barakallahu feek. Yeah. But until then, I'm just going to call it maksura for now, though. So let me check that, inshallah. And the other one is the tawila. That's what I learned. What is dagger alif? Khinjariyah, khinjariyah. There's a fatha on the jim, khinjar. That's what I remember. Khinjariyah. So al-muthanna is what usually we're going to call it dual. ما دل على اثنين بزيادة ألف ونون رفعا وياء ونون نصبا وجرا. Okay. Al-Muthanna, he says here, this is simplified definition. What refers to two? By an additional alif and noon, if it's nominative, or an additional ya and noon, if it's accusative or genitive. Nahu, for example, Ja'a Zaydani. Here, Ja'a Zaydani. The two Zaids came. The two Zaids came. How we know two? Because right here. An additional alif and noon. You already know here. This alif lam, that's extra, because that's the article. So where's the original word? Zayd. So Zayd is the original word. So then the alif and the noon are what? Just what he told you. Ziyada, extra, added, additives. So that's clear, and it's in the state of rafa'. Why? Because he's the doer. Ja'a Zaydani. So let's do the i'rab for this sentence. Ja'a. فعل ماض, past tense, verb. مبني على فتح, built with a فتح. الزيدان, فاعل. الزيدان is the doer. مرفوع has to be مرفوع because he's the doer. He's a فاعل. The rule of the fa'il is that the fa'il is marfu'. Fa'il is marfu'. Fa'il is marfu'. So he's marfu' because he's the fa'il. Yani nominative. Yani subject of the sentence always nominative. وعلامة رفعه ألف. And its sign of rafa is an alif. English doesn't have a sign for the nominative case though, outside of the pronouns, except the word order. When noon, and what about this noon here? Okay, so the alif is the sign of rafa, meaning badalan ani dhamma, instead of a dhamma. Okay, because you'd say Zaydun, Ja'a Zaydun, so there's a dhamma there. The dhamma is the sign of rafa. But now this is a different kind of word. Yani, this word is built differently, so it has a different sign. In this case, the sign is an alif if it's in a state of rafa, instead of a dhamma. Okay, so what's this noon here? وَالنُّونُ عِوَضٌ عَنِ التَّنْوِينِ. And the noon is a replacement for the tanween. The tanween, when you say Zaydun, Zaydun, those two dhammas I wrote there. The first one, that's the sign of rafa'. The second one, that's really a noon that we're not going to write it. Instead of writing a noon, we're just going to write another haraka. Zaydun. So now I got these colors reversed here. This alif goes with this dhamma there. This noon goes with this dhamma here. So the alif is a sign of rafa' instead of the dhamma. And the noon is a replacement for the tanween. And you might wonder, why do you have to replace the tanween? Is it there for a reason? Tanween is there for a reason. Tanween is like kind of, in this case, kind of a mechanism. If the word is a machine, then the tanween is like a mechanism that is there for function. Yani, it's like a flap that closes an opening. It's there for a reason. So the tanween ends the word, makes you know the word is over. This noun, say Zaydun. So when you turn it to another form, when you double it, instead of a tanween, you're going to put a noon. As Zaydani. So that noon makes us know the word is over. Now, you might have a question after that, but I'll let you pose it yourself. And I won't go further for now. And there's another example. وَرَأَيْتُ زَيْدَيْنِ وَمَرَرْتُ بِالزَّيْدَيْنِ. Let's do the i'rab for these two. وَرَأَيْتُ زَيْدَيْنِ. So, رَأَيْتُ, I'm not going to count this wow here, it's just the conjunction. It's like to say, didn't we say right here? Nahu, such as Zaydani. Then this wow is like we're repeating. Wa nahu, and such as, we're not going to say nahu again though. We're just going to say what. So it's not going to enter into our i'rab here. Although there's a rule in Arabic script that you should know, which is that you write the wow like it's part of the word. This is what I have learned. One deviant person told me you don't have to when I pointed out that she made a mistake. Said you're not supposed to separate the wow. She said you don't have to. So I don't know if there's a saying. وَرَأَيْتُ الزَّيْدَيْنِ, and رَأَيْتُ. So رَأَيْتُ, رَأَى. Ra'a, have to take the verb back to how I would say it if it's by itself. Like we did with Sama last time. We were saying Sumtu, when we wanted to break it down, we said Sama. We reverted it back to the way we would say it. Same thing here. Ra'aytu. So this ya here, which is the end of the verb. If we say this verb on its own, it's going to be an alif. Ra'a. So ra'a, that means he saw. Fi'lun ma'udin, past tense verb. Mabniyun ala fathin muqaddar. It's built with an estimated or a disappearing fath. منع من ظهوره كراهية توالي أربع متحركات فيما هو كالكلمة الواحدة. This fatha didn't appear for a reason that we'll talk about later, inshallah. But you estimate that it's there because this is a past tense verb. And the rule is past tense verb is built with fatha, always ends with fatha, even if it's an estimated one or a disappearing one. That's the saying we're going by. If you remember what we took in Qatrun Nada, we said something else. We're going to go this way. This is what we learned. This is the strong saying, and this is the way that Al-Aajurroomiyyah proceeds anyway. That fatah, that fi'lun ma'udin always ends with fatah. So رأى فعل ماض مبني على فتح مقدر, past tense verb built with an estimated فتح. والتاء ضمير متصل, and the ta is a suffixed pronoun. مبني على الضم, it's built with a ضم. في محل رفع, in the nominative slot, because the doer means I. So رأيت, I saw. الزيدين, the two Zaids. So الزيدين مفعول به is direct object for the verb رأيت, I saw. So then it should be what? Mansub. That's what you should know automatically. Really, by now, if you've been studying since Qatrun Nada, then this should be for you clear. Mansub. Because maf'ulun bihi. Wa alamatu nasbihi. What? Yeah. Why? لأنه مثنى, because it's dual. والنون عوض عن التنوين في المفرد, and the noon is a replacement for the tanween that's in the singular form. ومررت بالزيدين, and I passed by the two Zaids. So let's do the i'rab for this sentence. Marartu. Marra. Marra. Here's the verb by itself. Marra. Originally you would say marara. Marara. Like daraba. Marara. But since the last two letters are the same here, they got merged. Yani, a fatha went away. We lost a fatha, since there was three fathas. Marara. Now there's only two. Marra. A fatha disappears and two ra's merge together. Marra. But when the pronoun comes, the ra's break apart again. So you say marartu. So marra fi'lun madin, past tense verb. Mabniyun ala fath, it's built with a fath. Wata damirun. Wata damirun muttasilun mabniyun ala dam. And the ta is a suffixed pronoun built with a dam. Fi mahalli rafa', in the nominative slot. So it's very repetitive. You need to memorize those statements if you're going to be successful in Nahu. But that's what we're going to do all throughout the book. But of course, as the sentences get more sophisticated, then you're going to have more things. Bizaydaini, by the two Zaids. This ba is al-ba'u harf jar, prepositional particle. Mabniyun ala kasr, it's built with a kasr. As Zaydaini, ism majroor. It's the object of the preposition. Wa alamatu jarrihi, and its sign of being genitive is, as you know, al-ya also. Just like if it were mansub. لأنه مثنى, because it's dual. والنون عوض عن التنوين, and the noon is a replacement for the tanween. في المفرد, in the singular form. He says وجمع المذكر السالم. وجمع المذكر السالم. وجمع المذكر السالم. So jama' means plural. Mudhakkar means made masculine. So it means masculine here. And salim means sound. That means not broken. Let me point out for you what's going on with these harakat on the end. So jam'u and salimu, you know those are going together. So salim is describing the jama'. Salim means sound. So this is jam'un salim, a sound plural, not a broken plural. And mudhakkar is mudaf ilayhi, that's why there's kasra there. It's mudaf ilayhi. So jam'ul mudhakkar, the plural of what was made masculine, the plural of what was masculinized. That's idafa, as-salim, the sound one. So that means that this word salim is not describing mudhakkar. It's not describing mudhakkar. Salim is describing jama'. So think about that if you need to. ما دل على جمع. It is what proves plurality, or it is what proves a group. بواو ونون في آخره في حالة الرفع. By a waw and a noon, meaning an additional waw and an additional noon, just like in the dual form. By an additional waw and an additional noon on its end. في حالة الرفع, when it's nominative. وياء ونون في حالتي النصب والجر. And by a ya and a noon in the two states, in the two states, the accusative and the genitive states or cases. So I think that's all clear. And here are the examples. Nahu, such as جاء الزيدون. The Zaids came. الزيدون, the Zaids. That means three or more. الزيدون فاعل is doer. مرفوع in the nominative. It's nominative. وعلامة رفعه واو. In this case, its sign of rafa as a waw instead of a dhamma. When it was dual, its sign of rafa was an alif instead of a dhamma. Now it's a plural. Its sign of rafa is a waw instead of a dhamma. وَالنُّونُ عِوَضٌ عَنِ التَّنْوِينِ. And the noon is a replacement for the tanween. It's supposed to be kasra there. Right there, they printed fatha. رَأَيْتُ زَيْدِينَ مَفْعُولٌ بِهِ is mansub. Is direct object. مَفْعُولٌ بِهِ, direct object, mansub, accusative. وَعَلَامَةُ نَصْبِهِ يَا. And sign of nasb is a ya. لأنه جمع مذكر سالم, because it's a sound masculine plural. ومررت بالزيدين, and I passed by the Zaids. So الباء حرف جر مبني على كسر, it's built with a كسر. الزيدين اسم مجرور, genitive noun. وعلامة جره يا لأنه جمع مذكر سالم, and its sign of being genitive is a ya because it's a sound masculine plural. If you have any question, go ahead and ask, please. والفرق بين المثنى والجمع, and the difference between the dual and the plural. في حالتي النصب والجر, in the two cases, in the accusative case and in the genitive case. أن ياء المثنى مفتوح ما قبلها مكسور ما بعدها. Is that the ya for the dual has a fatha before it and a kasrah after it. So you say marartu bizaydaini ويا الجمع مكسور ما قبلها مفتوح ما بعدها. And the ya of the plural has a kasra before it and a fatha after it. It's the reverse. So you say marartu bizaydina. Now there's two more words here. So wal-mu'rab. معرب ما تغير آخره بسبب اختلاف العوامل. The mu'rab, variable ending, it is a word that its ending changes because of the varying agents. Because of the varying influencing words. Mu'rab is what changes because its ending changes because of varying influencing words. That's what mu'rab is. Nahu Zaydun wa Rajul, like Zayd and Rajul. So because you can say Zaydun, Zaydin, Zaydan, depending on what's happening. Rajulun, Rajulin, Rajulan. And it's not a condition that whatever is influencing another word is in front of it. If we say it like that, it's not a rule. But it is easier for beginners, so he doesn't have to think too hard. Wal mabni, and mabni, built. ما لزم حالة واحدة, that which adheres to a single state. Yani, I've been saying it's built like that, doesn't change. كأين وأمسي وحيث وكم. So like aina, it doesn't change. You don't say ainu, aini. You don't say amsu, amsa. You only say amsi. You don't say haytha, haythi, meaning not because of anything influencing it. Ibn Hisham told us about that word haythu, if you remember. He said there's variance for this word. If you did say haytha or haythi, it's still going to be built like that, built with a kasra or built with a fatha. It's not changing due to any agents or influencing words. And kam, it's built with a sukoon. So most of the Arabic nouns are mu'rab. That's the origin of an Arabic noun, to be mu'rab, so that its ending changes depending on what's happening in the sentence. Even if that's estimated or disappearing. And some Arabic nouns are mabni, static, unchanging end. And the origin of the Arabic verb is to be mabni. Like we keep saying, fi'lun madin, mabni. The origin of the Arabic verb is to be just static like that. And there's some verbs that their endings change. They're mu'rab. And all of the particles in Arabic are mabniya, they don't change. That's going to come, inshaAllah ta'ala. Wallahu subhanahu a'lam. And Allah, the Exalted, knows best. So we finished that introduction there, and right on time. So we can stop here, and then next week, inshallah, we'll get right into, inshallah ta'ala, the classical text. Any question? You said in orthography, in the word bizaydaini, why is the alif connected to the ba and not disconnected? The alif is connected to the ba because alif connects from the right, not from the left. Some Arabic letters connect from the right and the left. Some of them connect only from the right. Also, how can a person, particularly a beginner, distinguish between al-alif al-ya'iyya and al-alif al-maqsura? So our brother's saying it's called ya'iyya, not maqsura. Nah, okay. He says from Dr. Wafi, mashallah. You say, can we translate al-mu'rab as the declinable and al-mabni as indeclinable? I don't know. But if you can go for simple, understandable words, I'd suggest that. That's why I usually say mu'rab means variable ending. Mabni means static ending. And I'm afraid that's not clear itself. You said in the first question, the ba is a harf and the other is a noun, so it's not clear in orthography to me why they are connected. What does orthography mean? The way words are written and connected. So I don't see what's unclear. Yani, this is how you write Arabic. You connect words. You connect letters, I mean. Sometimes they connect from the right, sometimes they connect from the right and the left. Sometimes you will write the harf with the other word. Sometimes you don't. Like, if it's just one letter, like ba or lam, you connect it. If it's a harf. And sometimes you can still connect it even more. Sometimes you run words together in Arabic. You write them like one thing. Pronouns attach, particles attach. They are suffixed and prefixed. Go ahead. I don't think I said that like that. Well, let's just say muhkam verses. Yani, the meaning of hunna ummul kitab. They are ummul kitab. The base or foundation of the book is that they are the reference for the other verses, and they are the majority of verses. Wa ukharu mutashabihat, and others, these others, they are the ones that refer back to other verses. Don't refer the muhkam verse to the mutashabih verse. You refer the mutashabih verse to the muhkam verse. That's what the ayah is telling us. One of them is the reference for the other. So we can just say that much.